Welcome back to week 5 of the Lean Process with Infinite A Institute. This week we were joined by Alita Karchner, Walter Battle, Sharon Hansen, and myself, Ean Garrett. This week we were able to conduct a number of 12 interviews for a total of 50 interviews, and so we're right on target for reaching our goal of 100. A few noteworthy interviews for this week. Primarily we focused on national, meaning U.S. education. We also were able to reach out to international educational organizations as well. One of the main focuses regarding social impact financing is the early childhood sector. We talked to a number of advocacy groups across the country who essentially all were complaining of cuts being made in state budgets for early childhood education. I think everyone was in agreement that early childhood education may be a place where there's the highest return of money and capital that can be spent in order to have long-term and lasting effects on the society as well. One of the other things that we talked about was metrics. What are some standardized metrics that the early childhood sector is essentially interested in utilizing in order to achieve the outcomes that are desired? And what we found out is that varying upon each situation, we know that one thing that is analogous is that individuals and organizations want to see longitudinal outcomes. They want to see outcomes over a long period of time. They want to see how a child who is taught a certain curriculum or goes through a certain programming or process at the early childhood level, what are their secondary outcomes and their post-secondary outcomes? What are their life outcomes? Some other interesting metrics. What are their familial situations? What are some other factors that are going on? And so we have a number of different metrics that have been proposed, and what we've decided to do is just to essentially leave that area flexible so that individual organizations and communities can essentially agree upon their own metrics, but we will still conform to the Global Impact Investing Network's metrics of IRIS, while at the same time still leaving that door open for organizations on the ground to essentially choose any external metrics that are outside of what is in IRIS and what is in the Global Impact Investing Network as well. Also, we spoke with a principal of a school in China. And in particular, one of the things that we found out is that their educational system is really geared towards rote memorization and regurgitation. And as a result, there are opportunities for other educational paradigms around the world to catch up to China, not only on international assessments, but from a work ethic standpoint as well. Individuals in China do say that their students do work extremely hard, and so that is something that you have to give to the Chinese. Their students work extremely hard, but at the same time they aren't able to as readily grasp complex and intangible concepts and be able to make correlations between varying points in order to essentially come up with different concepts and to be able to excel in some of those areas of critical thinking as well. And so those were some of the things that we got from China. This week on our business model canvas, not much has changed. One of the things that we wanted to talk about, that a lot of people have come to us about, that we're considering offering as a service, is advocacy. Although our model is primarily private and we leave the government involvement to be optional. What we found is that some organizations, like we discovered, do want the possibility of government involvement, and they wanted to know if we're willing to come in order to be able to advocate and to explain these complex social impact financing models and the benefits thereof. So what is our strategy for keeping, keeping and growing our customer base? It's interesting because our model is physical and it's web and internet based. So essentially we do have an office location, but a lot of our interaction with our customer base is online. And so, it's an interesting mix, but we felt that for our organization, the best model to use was the physical model. And so as far as our awareness of how customers are made aware of our products and our services, essentially direct sales has been king for us. Also keeping a search engine optimized website, blogging, and word of mouth. As far as interest, white papers. After we conduct this particular 10-week course, we will write a white paper, and also there will be more white papers to come regarding social impact financing, the micro social impact bond model to be included. As far as podcasts are concerned, we will continue to do more of these as well. Ebooks, blogging, and social media. As far as consideration is concerned, we have a free 30-minute consultation we provide. Our website is full of information. Our blogs are full of information. We can always be checked out on LinkedIn, and our social media presence is pretty significant. As far as the purchase, we talked about 3% of upfront capital requirements. If it's light lifting, if it's heavy lifting, and we have to come in and create original programming, or we really have to do some intensive work, that is where we bump it up to 5% of the upfront capital requirements. We also provide consulting, technical assistance, customization. Payment plans are optional, such as quarterly or biannually over the life of the social impact bond. And so if you don't have the money to pay it up front, we can take it over the life of the micro social impact bond. Also, prep training. We do charge $100 an hour for half a day, $75 an hour for multiple days if we have to come in and prep individuals and organizations, specifically using some of our curriculum. For the downside, right, once individuals have decided that they want this specific model, they have the option of essentially breaking it down into something that's more specific. And so suppose, yes, the micro social impact bond is something that we've decided is right for our organization and our particular goals. Now, once we go from there, do you want to create a social impact bond for the healthcare industry? Do you want to create one for education? Do you want to create one for mentoring? Do you want to create one for low-income housing? What are you trying to accomplish once you've decided that this is the particular model for you? After you've decided where you want to go, we do have other curriculum that we do integrate that can also enhance the outcomes, and that provides a level of consistency across our different projects as well. Our different products that we offer are Infinite 8 kits for non-cognitive development training, posters, early childhood curriculum, non-cognitive development curriculum, as well as a number of other curriculum. Also, if you want to create 2 or 3 micro social impact bonds together that each fit together like a puzzle piece and complement one another, we're also able to do that as well. And then also, we're always glad to take referrals. What did we learn about our channel this week? We believe that standard metrics were what's needed. So we talked to national educational advocates, and the result is that we found out they want flexibility, and they want to start with the baseline, start where people are at, meet them where they're at, instead of bringing in an entirely new assessment as well. and also leave metrics for the local negotiating table. I'll also say really briefly, another thing that we found out is that while talking to philanthropists, that it can behoove anyone going down this path and really seeking creative financing to talk to individuals that are first generation. What we found is that those individuals who are first generation have more of a desire, or maybe that's not the right word. We'll say they have more of a connection to their vision of philanthropy, and that sometimes that vision may not be as strong in the second generation. And so the best way to go about that is to, if possible, reach out to individuals in the philanthropic community who are first generation. So this week we will talk to individuals in the equity crowdfunding space in the UK. We'll continue to reach out to individuals in the early childhood sector where there has shown to be a very large promise of social impact financing in that area, where some of the larger deals are already going on, such as in Chicago or in Salt Lake City, Utah. Also, international philanthropic organizations will be a focus for our organization going forward and for the project going forward next week. If you or anyone that you know is interested in interviewing with Infinite A Institute and for our project concerning the Micro Social Impact Bond, please contact me at Ean, E-A-N, at infiniteaidinstitute.com. Once again, that's Ean at infiniteaidinstitute.com. Thank you guys for joining us this week, and we look forward to reconnecting with you guys next week.